Hi everyone, and welcome to Pay-Per-Click and SEO Insider Tips. I am Keisha Stephen Gittins of NYU's Inbound Marketing Clinic and SearchDecoder.com. And today we'll be talking to Megan Brown, social strategist at digital agency iAcquire.
Thank you so much for having me. Sure. So I work at a startup, and so right now, it's me and an intern are the entire social media department. So this means that basically I do the job of like 3 people. So I do social strategy for clients. So I work with them to sort of work on, campaigns and optimizing their social media and that sort of thing. But also I'm a community manager for iAcquire, so the company itself. So that means I do stuff such as make sure that there's things scheduled to post, but beyond that, I work with the measurement and metrics of how well our social profiles are doing, how we can grow our audience, and then also obviously campaigns for that as well. And then on top of that, I work with the rest of the inbound marketing department because we kind of have a twist on the way that we do social media in that obviously we're a digital marketing agency and we do a lot of on and off page SEO. So I do social media kind of like through a search lens. So I work with the content strategist, the director of market research, the manager of SEO, and the director of inbound marketing. And I work with them to kind of make sure that all of our pieces fit together. So kind of a little bit of everything, but it's always exciting and it's nice to be able to switch from thing to thing. So a lot of what brands are doing now that I really like is that they're not just running the same campaign on every network, and they're also not running, different campaigns on every network. They're repurposing things, which gives them a lot more resonance, so that they can last a lot longer. Because maybe Facebook is better for visual data and stuff like that. And maybe Twitter is better for sort of like short, clever messaging, but it all kind of fits together. And so I feel like some brands are seeing the light on that, so they're not just doing like one-off campaigns. They're sort of building a better brand identity by repurposing things for the right networks. So first of all, there's the basic SEO part of it. So if you place an infographic and you include a link in the embed code and you place it on other places, you're building links, which, anyone knows that for SEO, that's obviously something you want to do. On top of it, that kind of content could potentially be viral content. So getting those social shares will indicate within search, that you're fresh and relevant and this is interesting to people, which will help you with that. But also the very fact of social sharing means more people will see what you're doing. And that kind of content kind of lends itself more to it. Like data visualizations, interactive data visualizations, and infographics. There's so much value to it because a lot of companies are like, I'm going to create this and then just put it on my site. But if you actually get buy-in from people who are influential on social or within that space, you'll have both on and offline influence, and people will recognize you by the good work that you do also, so you'll be seen as a resource because you're providing people with something useful that's also kind of has a little bit of that entertainment aspect. It doesn't have to be crazy expensive to be good. What matters really, obviously you want it to look good, but it needs to be fresh and unique, it needs to be timely, and it needs to have that buy-in from those influencers, and all of those things don't necessarily cost a whole ton of money, obviously. Outreach you can do yourself, getting other people to share. The creation of it itself does not have to be crazy expensive, and it definitely pays off more than it would cost a small business. So I've seen a lot, like I said, where they create resonance by creating separate parts. I've seen a lot of video campaigns that I've really liked, like interactive video campaigns. So there was one that was actually really cool that Talk Show did, or like one of those late night shows, where they gave you a tour of kind of like the building, and so you'd like choose your own adventure. So you'd pick the next video and where you'd go, and something different would happen every time. That was kind of interesting because that's a lot of content, and it's hard to keep people engaged if you're pushing out the same thing all the time. But it was like enough. It was different and entertaining enough that a lot of people had never seen something like that before, so they were sharing it, and also it was a game. Gamification is huge. A lot of companies that are seeing a lot of success with that because first of all, you're rewarding people for returning. And second of all, people like to play games. I mean, that's kind of like what you do on the internet besides look at cats riding Roombas on YouTube, you know. So gamification is probably one of the big things, and you can work infographics or data visualizations into those. It doesn't just have to be like, here's points for a % off. It can be like, if you can find like, you know, these facts within our site, that gets people reading all of your content that you've already created and already invested your time in, so that's already done. And then it also gets people interested because they want to gain something from you, but they're also learning at the same time. So yeah. You need to know like what your audience likes and where you find them. So where that resides, whether it's on Facebook or on your site or, you know, somewhere else, that kind of depends on, at iCar we do a lot of audience research and we create personas to see like who your target audience is, who the audience you currently have. We use Experience Simmons and Nielsen data with a couple other data sources and layer it together. And then also like we pull all that social data and social behavior data. And for that, it's not so much, it depends on how in depth you want to go. I will say that I won't do anything unless I believe in it. And I like, when I came to iCar, I came from a different SEO company. And I really liked what iCar did because we do the homework. And I feel like that's really important before you're like, oh, I want to have, you know, I want to create a game or I want to create a graphic. It's kind of like important that you do the homework to find out who you're creating it for and ask them what they think.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like why I really like what we do and to take risks. Because when you're thinking about things like, all right, this infographic data visualization, yeah, it might cost a little bit more money than writing a blog post, but the reward is really high. So I think taking calculated risks like that is one of the things that also marketers are overlooking a lot, and they're going with what's safe, because also they're sticking within that small audience. And like I said, Old Spice, when you thought of Old Spice before, I thought of my grandpa. Like now I don't. So because they went for another audience, but they didn't alienate their old audience. So I know that's like kind of like cliche maybe, but as I've been working more and more in it, I do see the value of taking risks.
So that's it for this segment. Special thanks to Megan Brown, and thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check our website searchdecoder.com for more information, insider tips, and tricks.